You should be able to hear it now. Do you hear my voice? Do you hear me? Yeah. Test. 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 1, 2. Test. Test again.
Just -3.
-3, like. Test. Testing now. Testing now. Yeah, that's good, I think. All right. Good evening, everybody who's tuning in from locally and around the world. Um, we are just getting started and waiting for the athletes to come out now. My name is Josh, and you're probably wondering why I'm behind the microphone right now. So I've been climbing for about 5 years and coaching for about 4 of those. I coach currently here at the Hive and for the Hornets. So throughout my time kind of climbing, I've been climbing nationally, regionally, kind of all of those kind of the competitions, and of course Honey Dill. We're going to have a great comp this evening. We have some amazing competitors. Some people coming in from BC, from Saskatchewan, and of course your local Manitoba athletes as well. Jeremy, I love you, dude. So what's going to kind of happen here is athletes are going to come out for a viewing period in just a second here. And we're going to go over some of the rules. We have a couple surprises in store, and it should be a blast. Crowd looks up. There's Dan.
Welcome to the 5th annual finals. We are your hosts.
All right. So while they are kind of getting into it, we're going to quickly go over the rules here. So every athlete is going to attempt 3 problems with 5 minutes for each problem. You can see that here at the top. And there will be a 15-second transition period. What's up, Graham? So, with that being said, athlete order, they will come out starting at 6th place based on qualifier points. That means those who qualified last will be coming out and climbing first and ending all the way through to 1st place qualifying. All 6 athletes of that category will attempt climb 1 before moving on to climb 2. So luckily, we get to see every athlete on each climb before they move on to the next. So what you're going to see in a second here is athletes are going to come out of isolation, which means kind of they're isolated from the rest, so they cannot see any of the problems. They cannot see how people do on the climb. So that gives them a little bit of strategy that we can talk about later as well. They can only watch their climbs once all of them are done. So what's going to happen is they're going to come out for a viewing period. They're going to get about 1 minute per boulder. Part of this strategy is they're going to be talking with people, seeing what others are thinking. They know there's going to be people stronger than them. There's going to be people that are better at certain styles. So that gives them a chance to look over the route and as well as talk with others about how to do that route. So during that time, athletes can only touch the start hold. So what we can see with the start hold is by the tape. So that means they are going to have 4-point start. That means per piece of tape, 1 limb will be on that hold or on the wall. So here they're coming out. We have Harrison coming out. Now, Harrison, we'll get back to the rules in a second here, but Harrison is local. He is from Manitoba. He's been competing for the past couple of years. Luckily, I have had the pleasure of competing with him. Here is Chung Nguyen. Chung is from Saskatchewan, competing, I believe, in his first Honey Dill finals and first Honey Dill competition. Marcus Hall also coming from out of town in Saskatchewan.
The reigning Honey Dill champion, Kyle.
So here we have Kyle. Kyle, again, local legend. This guy has been climbing for 9 years. And Chris Taylor from BC has specifically told me to say that he's been climbing for 9 years and 1 day, so longer than Kyle.
Yeah, Misha. Misha Lipinski!
So this is Misha. He told me he has been climbing for about a week now. But a little bird told me that this kid is probably the strongest in Canada right now. I'm talking multiple Boulder champion, multiple league champion, both nationally and regionally. So coming out here, Talia from Manitoba originally, but has since moved to Regina. Sophie, this is Sophie's second Honeydale finals. I've recently been crushing it on the youth circuit. Zoe, originally from Ontario, has been climbing for 10 years but has lived in Manitoba for 2 of those. Alex, also a local crusher on the youth circuit here. And finally, Tekla Hunter, also multiple time national competitor, regional competitor. We're going to have an amazing comp to watch this evening with some amazing competitors. Some BC makers out there. So, just again, they are going into their viewing period now. So, what that means is they get to see their boulders for 1 minute. So that time is starting now. They have a chance to discuss each of them. So we will be breaking down each problem as they happen during the competition here. Part of the strategy with this is to talk with each other. They get to start to touch the start holds, try to feel out some of the positions. I think a main strategy that you're going to be seeing here is going to be looking at what types of holds there are, where's the in cut, where's the most positive part to grab. Obviously these routes aren't going to be easy, but as well we have the best of the best here. So the men starting with a delicate slab on the very far right there. We're going to tune in. So thank you, Graham, for letting me know.
The goal is to get to the top. So if they get to the top,
all right. So
you gotta lose your shit because that's
again, how this is going to work here. Moving on to Boulder 2 here. So the men have a very powerful style coordination move. It's going to see a lot of falls, but even more exciting tops. The women are on a very delicate slab here. It looks like with the shoulder section towards the top. Obviously, they're going to be talking with each other about how they're wanting to do the boulders. How this will work is you're going to see 3 pieces of tape on the wall. Again, that 4-point start right at the bottom. There's going to be a different color piece of tape in the middle. Now that is your zone. So what the zone means is essentially it's a halfway point and it contributes to their final score at the end. So getting a zone is sometimes just as critical as those athletes getting to the top. Now, for a zone to count, we're going to be keeping track of that over here. For a zone to count, that has to be controlled. So what that means is they must use it in some way. So simply holding it is not enough. They have to make use of it, adjust their body position, or move upwards further into the climb. Now, another important note here is they will be docked in attempt for adding tick marks, so that's those little lines, touching any holds, be the side the starting ones or the blockers, or starting unsuccessfully. Now, an attempt starts when all the body parts leave the ground. We're going to be keeping track of that over here. We have some great visuals that we've been working on kind of throughout the week for you, and hopefully we should have conditional scoring throughout the competition. Obviously, final scoring will always be coming from a judge and not from the live stream. As they're headed out, we cannot wait to see them. Some other things to go over, please let me know if you have a question in the chat. I'm going to try my best to monitor it, as well as kind of explaining some strategy, maybe explaining a few of the climbs. How are they scored? First and foremost, they're scored based on tops. So essentially, an athlete with 2 tops will beat an athlete with 1. Now, this is where those zones come into play. So the zones, an athlete with 2 zones will beat out an athlete with 1. So that means if athletes are tied at 2 tops, if an athlete has an additional zone, they would beat out the other athlete. Now, other things is if there is a case of a tie of tops and zones, it will go to attempts to top. So that is their total amount of attempts that they have attempted throughout the climb. And if there's still a tie there, which is very rare, we will go attempts to zone. With that being said, those gray shapes that you see on the wall there, those are volumes. They can use those for any climb. Now, we have our athletes coming out in 30 seconds. So let's take a quick look at some of these boulders. Now, here we have men's boulder 1. So we can see these really bad feet kind of at the bottom here, followed kind of by this jump up sequence. Then we're going to go over to this top section here. Very bad top, as you can see. We're going to move over to Harrison and Ellen in a second, but very bad top, meaning they have to press up and into this top hold. We're going to move over to women's here. Again, kind of a gnarly crimp at the start, so very small. We have athletes on the wall, so we're going to tune in quickly. So I believe that was 1 attempt each. So very good attempts from both of them to get started here. So Ellen back on the wall. We have Harrison on the far side. Harrison making quick work of that slab, and Ellen also cruising through her section. We have neither getting to the zone. Ellen in a deep lock off there, meaning she's really focused on that right arm, shifting her weight over top of that foot. Harrison also with another attempt. So we have, I believe, 3 attempts now on each. We're watching Harrison on this side. Quick over. Again, that key with that slab is to try to keep that body into the wall as best as you can. Again, with slab, given that it's a positive angle, meaning the wall's angled away from them, angling yourself into the wall is absolutely crucial. So Harrison's reaching over for that foothold, which is marked as the zone there. So again, he has to use that zone to get to the top. Ellen also cruising through here, trying to get into a press, just a slip and fall. Up, Harrison sticks the zone. So Harrison now has control of that zone, meaning that he does get awarded that zone point now. Again, we're going to get this clock working in the subsequent round. Harrison taking a fall there. So Helen up again here. Harrison going again, just takes that fall. Helen really digging deep here. This is Helen's first finals, almost with that zone. So again, that's a very good example of that zone ruling, right? So in that case, Helen would not be awarded the zone. Harrison up, Harrison sticks it, and just takes the fall there. I see Ambrosia. Ambrosia, another Manitoba legend in the chat, just moved to BC this past year. Helen takes the fall there. So again, there's part of the strategy. So Harrison doing a really nice job there, keeping his body nice and tight into the wall as he goes up through that move. So now this is that tricky part where he tries to get into the press at the end. They only have a minute left here. So going to be very interesting to see what plays out. Harrison trying to figure his way through here. Trying to squeeze over the top. I can barely hear myself. This crowd is going crazy. Harrison moving into the top. So I'll touch on what just happened with Ellen there in 1 second. Gets that top. It's huge for Harrison. Absolutely huge. Ellen has 20 seconds left here. This is going to be a great comp. Ellen just falling off the zone there. So what happened with Ellen on that attempt? People might be wondering here what happened with him on that attempt. So, or with her on that attempt. We have Trump coming up next. There we go. So we have Trump and Talia. So Talia making quick work of this first section here. And Trump just taking a fall. So with Ellen, she started that route incorrectly, meaning that she was called down by the judge. So we're going to be watching Trung here on the right attempts to get established onto the slab. Attempt number 2 for him. So currently, Harrison sitting in first place with 1 top, and it looks like 5 attempts to zone, 7 attempts to top. Those are the numbers that I have. Again, conditional numbers here. Trung just barely there. Natalia hitting it, just falls. Trung taking an attempt here. Ooh, uses that starting foothold. So I believe Harrison attempts top. And Trung almost just sticking the slab there, taking another attempt. Natalia getting up into that start there, trying to fight through it. Again, these holds are very open-handed, meaning they can't close down on anything. So, again, some of the holds that you'll see will have an edge to them. These ones are very open-handed, meaning they have to use a lot of those kind of palm muscles, a lot of forearm muscles. So this will be a very tiring first route for the women, meaning that they're going to have to use a lot more strategy moving forward. This is something that Talia was telling me beforehand, was trying to ensure that she was moving slowly and taking her time. Talia getting into that penultimate zone hold, trying to make this bump work, just making the fall there. It seems to be quite a poor hold. So we're going to see how it works out here. Trung just falling on the slab. Again, very tricky slab. So if we look at those holds, the holds that they're standing on quite angled, meaning they don't have lots of friction, they don't have lots of space to put their foot down. So making a trust element of these climbs really important. You might even see athletes using two different holds or two different shoes, depending on the route that they're climbing. A lot of the shoes they're going to be using are soft, which are kind of more useful for front rollers. Talia just missing the zone hold. So again, you have to control the zone hold as it moves through. Yeah, absolutely. These boulders are very hard. So again, these are the best of the best that we have. Trung just trying to make a run for it through. Might work for him. He has a 1 minute and 21 seconds here on the clock, which is really, really good for him. Talia moving up. That timer should be on now. Talia just missing the bump there. We haven't seen a zone yet for the women. So fully open. Next on deck here we have Sophie and Marcus Hall. So Marcus been climbing for about 7 years, I believe, competing out of Regina. So he's been competing since he's been about 9 years old. We have some great athletes here. So Talia moving up, falling off. She might want to think about maybe taking a rest. Got 9 more seconds. No doing for Trung here. We are moving on. Marcus and Sophie up. Here we go. During this 15-second transition. Sophie getting a pull on as well as Marcus. Sophie moving into that hold. Marcus making the slab look easy. Taking a little spill there. Again, these boulders, they are not easy. They're not easy at all. Marcus pulling onto the slab again as well. So Sophie gets called down. So judge is telling her she needs both feet on that volume to start the route properly. So that will cost her an attempt. So again, lots of strategy involved. You see Marcus moving really nice and slow on the slab, trying to prefer this more static method. So static meaning nice and slow, rather than a more dynamic approach that we saw previously. Again, very, very gnarly volume. Very gnarly volume. So they don't get lots of downforce through that volume. We can go over that a little bit after finals are done. But again, see Sophie pulling on here for, from what I'm counting, attempt number 4, and Marcus pulling on attempt number 3. Again, good evening to everybody who is tuning in. My name is Josh. I am a coach along with a previous national and regional level climber. I am hoping that you guys enjoy the finals. I'm hoping I can also provide a little bit of insight as to what might be going through their minds in certain moments. So we see Sophie pulling on. This can be quite frustrating. This not being able to move past it. And again, not knowing how other people have been doing on the climb. It's very tricky. Marcus getting established on that slab. This is that tricky part where he's having to trust that foot. Again, what we're trying to look for with this is being able to rock our weight over or shift our weight over that foot on the volume. That's that downforce that makes it stick. You see Sophie moving into this penultimate zone hold now. Again, really trying to pull the force down through her right hand, deep onto that foot, so that weight is going all the way over top. What you can notice with that is the knee. So the knee going over top of the toes, meaning the force is being pushed down through her feet. Now, we saw Harrison have an attempt, but we have not seen a zone or an attempt since. So again, what route setters sometimes look for are something called split boulders. So these are the boulders that will be difficult determining the top three from the bottom three. So we have 6 athletes in finals this evening for both male and female. And again, it's going to be very interesting with 3 boulders compared to the usual 4 that we see in world climbing competitions as to what strategies are going to be used. Sophie moving up again, putting that weight over top of that foot on the volume, trying to really rock over. So what you might notice with Sophie's fingers here is they are taped up. So having qualified earlier today, a lot of her skin, which is dependent for friction, has probably been used up, which makes climbing in finals quite challenging. See Marcus moving up again and not being able to find balance there. So 45 seconds left on the clock for each of them. They have to be careful. Sophie's probably looking for a zone as well as Marcus. They both know they need it moving forwards. Sophie getting over that, has the crowd support behind her. Moving into it. We'll see if we can see a zone here. No zone from Sophie. And we'll see if we can see. We're going to see another pull on from Sophie. This is surprising in my eyes. I would take that 15 seconds. I would rest. But big cheers to the athletes. We have Kyle and Zoe Perkins out next here. So Kyle, again, local legend. To be awesome to watch Kyle climb here. So Kyle getting up into that slab on their first tries each. Kyle taking a fall. Kyle again has very large local support here. Again, something that the route setters might be looking for as well is the mind games of the first boulder. You might see that in some of these climbers here is the frustration starting to boil. So part of it for them is trying to be able to keep their attempts under control, trying to be able to keep their emotions under control. We're going to see Zoe fight for this sloper. Again, having to move fast over top of that foot, loses a little bit of control. We saw her lose some pressure over the foot. Kyle, again, trying to figure out the establishment. Watch Kyle take another couple attempts here. So you haven't seen Zoe in a while. So Zoe knows this is a boulder where they need a lot of fight. So that meaning they may want to rest more than simply expending energy. So Kyle getting now established on that slab, getting that foot slip. Again, we're looking for that downwards pressure through the foot to keep them on the wall. We see Zoe. We're going to see if she can use it. I am not fully convinced the judges are going to count that as a zone. So I'll withhold zoning that until I know what the judges are thinking there. Kyle, looking for something to go here. Zoe, again, taking that rest. Kyle, moving up. Kyle, with the crowd's reaction, realizes what might be going on here. Kyle trying to figure it out. Just missing. Zoe pulling on here. Taking a brush. Kyle trying to figure it out. You see Zoe taking a pull here. Zoe trying to really lock down again over top of that right hand hold. Kyle trying to learn this sequence. Again, what I like to constantly think about is qualifying for finals is largely a strength-based competition. Who is the strongest climber? Whereas in finals, it's who can learn fastest, who's the better route reader. So we're seeing Zoe, again, having only 4 attempts, trying to figure the sequence. She knows that she can't use lots of energy on this climb, and we're seeing her use that strategically. Kyle pulling on. Local support here for Kyle. Just missing. Zoe getting another pull on. Trying to see if they can figure it out. Again, a big fight up for both boulders here. We have seen one top, Harrison. We're going to see if Zoe can move in. Just missing there. Again, with that attempt, I am not sure. I'm not sure. Crowd is urging for one more for Kyle. Taking a slip and fall here. I'm not sure if they are going to give Zoe so here we have Alex Howland Hewitt and Chris Taylor. So Chris from British Columbia, Alex, local competitor here. So Chris Taylor is a route setter out for the Hive and a couple other gyms in BC. We're going to see what kind of a show they can put on. Both of them have competed nationally, and I've asked them a few questions about their time competing nationally. Alex still on the flash attempts here, just taking that fall. We're going to see Chris on his third attempt trying to rule some things out. So again, a lot of competitive climbing at this level. I'll answer that question that I just saw in the chat in a second. So again, it's a lot about learning, trying different things, trying to rule things out. The zone volume is quite flat. So it is almost flush with the wall, just giving them a little bit of friction. After the move on the slab, we saw Harrison. Yes, very nice. So Alex just taking a fall. We saw Harrison get a nice press up into that last hold, kind of using a pistol squat style motion. These are our 5th out of 6th climbers on the first boulder here. So I think something that you're going to be interesting to see is I want us to watch Chris's feet. on this slab here. I think a lot of his strategy is going to be thinking about pulling his feet together, creates a little bit of an oppositional force that he can squeeze with, which kind of keeps him centered on the wall. You're going to see him looking down at his feet, trying to squeeze through them. Alex going up for attempt number 3 here. Alex trying to be nice and slow, just making that fall off. We see both taking a nice little rest here. Okay, we have Chris pulling on. So again, watching his feet, he's going to be thinking about pulling those feet together, create a little bit of an oppositional force that will squeeze him onto the wall. Again, it's that learning factor. How fast can they learn it? Remember, they have to learn these boulders in 5 minutes. It doesn't give them a lot of time. Chris taking a nice little slip there. So again, something that we have to think about too. If an athlete starts to bleed, they have to control that bleeding for themselves. Their time does not stop. It keeps going. Alex taking a fall. We have 2 minutes left for each. Chris trying to figure it out. Chris just missing there. Saw that foot kind of slide into the friction piece there, which is the part that he's going to be aiming for. See Alex pulling up an attempt here. See Chris pulling on. Does he? Yeah! Chris gets that to stick. It just takes the fall. I believe he got zone, although I cannot watch replays, unfortunately. Alex on an attempt here. Trying to fight through it. Here we go for Chris. That would not have been his own attempt there for Chris. See Chris pulling on, just missing there. See Alex getting on nice and close. Chris, can he make it work? No, he has 30 seconds left. We're gonna see if Alex can make his own. Alex can't make it work, unfortunately. Chris making his zone work and just missing. So, big ups for Chris.
All right, let's move on to our
Making quick work of this section. Getting the zone that we're looking for. Tekla moving into this final section. We're going to see if we can see a top here from Tekla. Tekla! Easy top for Tekla. Good good pull on from Misha. We're gonna see if we can get Misha here. Misha on the far side there. Trying to figure something out here. Very interesting style beta. So again, I think something that is very interesting to see is the mind games of this. So the other athletes will know that Tekla has come back with 3 minutes still left on the clock. They will know that she flashed it, which kind of puts a little bit of pressure on everybody else in the succeeding boulders. I believe that was Misha's number 4 there. We're going to see Misha just almost sticking that slab. Misha just almost getting there. It's barely getting there. Yeah, Tekla did destroy that. I'm seeing Misha pull on here. Just trying to get there. Misha's feeling the pressure of the clock here. Misha getting the slab to stick, getting into that zone. Feels that 25-second pressure. We're going to see if Misha can make it through. Trying to figure it out. Moving on to these second grouping of climbs here. We are back with Harrison. And Ellen as well. Both on their first attempts here. Just missing. Ellen getting it to stick. Yeah, no, so Hunter is not competing. Misha has one top currently. Helen just taking a fall. But great zone on 2 there for Helen. No. Oh, yeah, it is a good point. Let me check the women's speed here. Okay, as they transition off, I will concentrate on Helen. We can move. It looks like we can try and figure it out. Both just falling off the top there. Okay, we're trying to figure out this speed here. 1 second. See Helen moving in. Sorry. I do understand that women's 2 is frozen. We're having an issue with one of the cameras right now. Okay, that should be back. We're gonna have to fix it at some point. Okay, here we have Talia and Tony. So, should be able to see both athletes. I understand that it is probably not ideal to have both cameras, one camera not operating to the best of its ability right now. We have Trunk almost getting the zone here on the flash. Talia just following. Trunk trying to find a way to get that zone. So, good flash zone for Trunk. attempts of fall. We have Talia on attempt number 2 here. We should have both cameras back here. Trung going in. So, crisis averted, I believe. Trung moving up here. It's that multiple position, taking a fall from the top. See that? Alia moving up here. Talia missing the solo. Trying to pick it for the top. Talia's going for the top here. See if she can make it work. Gets the top to stay. Goes for the top. Trung moving up here. Just missing there. Okay, here we have Marcus and Sophie pulling on. So, Sophie, I believe, currently in third, just based off of. Sweet. Yes, that is correct. Sophie on that first attempt. Marcus moving into his first attempt here. So seeing some interesting strategy from Marcus, trying to figure out how this works. Same thing with Sophie. Again, I say part of competing in finals is trying to understand how a boulder works, which can most often be the most complicated part for them. Okay. Have Sophie trying to work through this stemming based press here. Same thing with Marcus. Both of them trying to move through here. Sophie eyeing down that gold. Foot takes a little pop off there. Again, so very, very friction dependent. Camera people, it is a one-man show currently. I have help from a good friend who is standing nearby. But yes, yeah, lots of mental pressure for them. I think the mental pressure is probably the thing that makes people crack more than the actual climbs in themselves. Occasionally, climbs may not even be that difficult. It may just be the fact that it's difficult to root. And taking a fall, but gets the zone on the way down. So we have Sophie moving into this press, trying to get that jump. So I think that next step for Sophie would be eyeing down that volume, making sure both that hand and the foot land at the same time, and create a little bit of a counter pressure thing going on, which invokes a little bit of stability for her on that move. We have Sophie trying to move up with a minute to go here on the clock. Again, taking that fall, quite a risky move. Again, boulders are quite difficult. These boulders are not easy. On deck, we have Zoe and Kyle. We see Marcus moving up into that dyno. Again, trying with that first beta. Sophie pulling on for one more attempt. We have Marcus trying to pull through here, trying to get up into it, moves up into the penultimate hold, really trying to rock to the soldier, but nothing doing for Marcus there. Very valiant effort. We have Sophie trying to move into the stem, trying to get this zone to work, but does not work for her on that attempt either. We're going to see if she goes for another attempt here. She's going to pull on one more as we say goodbye to Marcus. We have Sophie pulling on, and a valiant effort again by Sophie. So now we have Zoe and we have Kyle. Kyle, again, this kind of thuggy style is very, very appropriate for Kyle. And we're going to see him hopefully excel in this brother. Again, scoring that I am posting is not fully accurate. This is just conditional scoring. This is the scoring that I am watching, that I'm keeping track of course. And it's very possible that I missed something. This is Kyle get the zone. So he takes a fall. Kyle trying to pull into that shoulder. Has a little hand pop to trying to fight his way through that finish. There's not a lot of give on that hold. That hold is not great to have. Kyle trying to use the volume, but takes a fall. Very nice zone, however, by Kyle. We have attempt number 2 here by Zoe. Trying to pop into that hold. It takes a little fall. Yes, the order that they are climbing in right now is opposite to their qualifying rank. So we saw Misha qualify first, so he will be climbing last with us. Zoe taking attempt number 3 here, gets it to stick. Trying to gets that zone as well. Kyle moving up the wall as well here. Kyle taking a fall. We have Zoe being patient here at the top. Trying to figure out this last section. Moving into that shoulder nicely. Trying to have pressure down through those feet. Come on, Zoe. Yeah, uses the thumb there. Trying to get to the top. Not a lot of friction on those volumes. Pops for it. See if she can match. And she makes the match work. Giving our second top of the evening for our women. Kyle moving up nicely as well on, I believe, his 3rd attempt. Kyle trying to power through it here. Seeing lots of hype from the crowd, which is good. Taking the fall there. Very well done by Zoe. Lots of support for Kyle here in the chat as well, which is really good. We like to see that. So, again, very, very physical boulder here for Kyle. Zoe, again, I am not sure whether or not they gave her that first zone. I'm not a judge and I don't have actual access to any of their score sheets, so I'm using my knowledge trying to judge them simultaneously as well here. We have Kyle moving. Trying to fight through this. We're going to see if we can see a top here from Kyle. Lots of power from Kyle. Places that heel down. Takes a little slip. So what you saw there just from Kyle was that heel hook. So using the heel to generate that inwards force to stabilize ourselves, keep us on the wall. So very, very physical section that these men are dealing with here. Up next on deck here, we have Alex Hallenduick, and followed by Kyle. I believe we have big fight here from Kyle. Lots of fight from Kyle. Trying to move up into that penultimate top hold. Potentially might want a rest here. He has the zone and he knows that his competition doesn't have lots of those. We know that we only have seen 2 tops, one from Harrison and one from Kyle. Kyle trying for a final time. 27 selects on the clock. Takes that fall. Up next we have Mr. 9 years and 1 day, Chris Taylor, along with Alex Hallenduick. So before the competition, Chris has been competing nationally for a long time, both in the North American Cup Series and Nationals. I asked Chris what would be something that he would want to have people know about competing at that level. And so what he told me is something that I have heard echoed throughout the competition scene multiple times, which is going into each boulder with a clear mind. So Chris taking a couple more attempts on that one. Alex trying to be nice and slow here. We're gonna see if she pops for it. Gives it a pop. I think she needs to hit a little bit of a swing over into that volume. Again, generate that opposition that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, the top of the men boulder, again, it's not great, right? We're talking about a hold that maybe is 45 degrees, but placed on a 20-degree wall. Doesn't generate them lots of friction. We're seeing Chris look a little bit confused. Again, huge part of competing is that route reading element. We have Alex. We're going to see if Alex pops for this hold. I think Alex kind of knows what's up with it now. Alex, again, has also competed on the national and the regional level. Both very strong in all competition. We have a few more climbers to go here before we move on to boulder number 3. And it is a tight competition, ladies and gentlemen, with a potential zone from Zoe earlier. Again, I am not sure if she got that zone. That is on the judges. We're seeing Zoe pop for it. Again, trying to hit that swing with the foot plant. I think a lot of this is about moving with your body. So not necessarily planning out the movements in advance, but moving as your body feels like it needs to. We're seeing Chris go for more of a double catch method, which is what I initially read it as rather than a physical problem. I think what Chris is looking for there with his foot is a lot of pressure inwards to the wall. So again, that pressure inwards along with that squeeze will generate him stability. If you haven't already caught on, a lot of climbing is about the stability generated in positions of instability. So Chris is trying to go from a position of stability on that start hold to another position of instability. And for him, it's going to be about finding those intricate positions in between, this time deciding to skip entirely through it. Seeing Zoe pull on for attempt number 5 here, I believe. We're going to see she has to go together here. So I think the trap that, sorry, not Zoe, Alex is falling into is the static trap. So trying to move one limb at a time when the route is designed for everything to be moved together, which is quite complicated, again, in a time of 4 minutes to discern what is what. So for Alex, she has been going statically for a while. I think a lot of this too is going to be trying different methods. So we see, what we can see with Chris is Chris is really good at trying those different methods. We see a zone here from Zoe on attempt number 6. We're going to see what Chris can do also on his 7th attempt. Chris makes it work. Well done with Chris. Trying to move slowly into the zone. Again, he cannot move fast here with risk of dropping it. So we see that adjustment of body position. I believe they would get that to him there. Alex, we see moving upwards and onwards as well. Alex, we might see a top here from Alex. Moving into that final position. Pressure to the foot. Just misses the top. What a heartbreaker. We're going to see if they can pull it through here with 39 seconds left on the clock. We're going to see if they can pull a big fight here. We've seen a zone from both of them. Chris now moving into the 3rd place position with 2 zones. Just missing that dyno. Again, it's about learning that dyno, which can be quite complex. Chris deciding to say goodbye for now. Alex trying to see if she can make it work. Takes a little foot pop. And we are on to our last climbers. So, good question. Top of the men's boulder here. I think what we're going to be looking at for the top of the men's boulder here is a large shoulder style. So being able to generate pressure through the left hand in order to move right into a shoulder and potentially place a foot by Misha. This is Misha's style of climbing. He's cruising this first section, moving into the zone here. We're going to see if Misha can go. So again, there's that foot pressure that I was talking about, moving him away from that ultimate hold. Tekla making quick work, moving into the zone as well. We can see a double top here right away. Misha, right at the top. We might get a flash. Misha's hyping up the crowd. I'm hyped up. Big flash from Misha. Oh my goodness. Tekla also making quick work of this boulder. Tekla moving into the top. Nice and controlled from Tekla. Big smiles. Big top from Tekla. All around. Wow. What a round to watch. So, unaccounting for attempts to top and attempts to zone here. Let's take a look at where we are at. Never mind. They're getting us going here. They're getting us going here right away on our last climbs, both blue climbs. We have Harrison, I believe, should be sitting in second currently. Both on their first attempts here. Again, this tricky boulder for the woman here, and this very powerful styled boulder for the men. I think we're going to see some amazing paddle dynos for the men here. Ellen moving nice and solid into the zone on the flash here. Harrison taking a little bit of a tumble. So for paddle dynos, again, we know a dyno as a jump on the wall. Absolutely, if they're on another level. So a paddle dyno is where multiple hands are moving across the wall in a dyno-based sequence. So with Harrison here, Ellen, again, on that second attempt, moving comfortably into that zone holds. Harrison, I believe, also now on his second attempt. It is, again, very possible. Yes, it is only 3 boulders each this evening. So normal IFSC or World Climbing, as they are now called, will have 4 boulder final formats with 4 minutes on each boulder. This evening, they have 3 boulders for 5. Ellen getting a top. This is her first finals, ladies and gentlemen. And a top in 3 at that. Gab Harrison moving in here on his 3rd attempt, I believe, shaking his head in disbelief. Ladies and gentlemen, these are hard boulders. Harrison trying to Big efforts here from Harrison as well. On attempt number 4, I believe, has 1 minute and 25 seconds left on the clock. We're going to see if we can make this paddle dyno work. Almost there. Harrison taking off the finger tape, has nothing to lose here. We're going to see a big try from Harrison. Let's go. We have 1 minute left here. Harrison trying to make this jump work. We're going to see if he can get it. Almost. I think Harrison has it in him. 30 seconds left on the clock. Here we go. Harrison moving in here. Attempt number 6. Lots of support from the crowd. Just missing the paddle. 21 seconds left on the clock. He knows he has it. Gonna rush for another attempt here. This crowd's gonna go absolutely insane if Harrison pulls this through. Harrison has seconds left on the clock. Almost getting the zone on attempt number 7. Valiant effort by Harrison. Very well done. We have Talia and Troy on each of these boulders. Talia moving into this first section. Designed as a careful boulder, we see Troy take his first attempt there. Again, that attempt means that all body parts are off the ground. So you see Trung on a second attempt. Natalia, we're going to see if she can make use of that hold. Making use of it, getting zone on the flash. Let's go, Talia. Talia trying to work into it. Talia scoping out the top here. Again, so part of this route reading happens on the ground. Trying to figure out. So the holds that she is on as well is after this, as they are probably calculating all of the scores, I'm going to try to give a kind of conditional score that I have calculated just so that we have a solid idea. But we're going to move into a boulder breakdown as well. Trung opting for that press up method as well. We're going to see if he can make this paddle work. Opting just for that first hold. We see Talia try and move in. Talia figuring it out here. Trying to figure it out. So again, very delicate boulder. She's gonna rush here. She was telling me before the competition she wants to take more time on slab, and it just fumbles the top off that flash attempt. So again, taking your time on these slabs where movement is delicate is absolutely critical. We have Trung moving up here, trying to figure this paddle. We have Talia moving right into her second attempt here. If anybody has questions as well, please do not hesitate to let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer questions. We have Talia trying to figure out this stem, opting to take a little bit of a rest here. Also have Trung pulling on for another attempt. We're going to see if Talia to make this attempt work here. Again, needing to take time on that final one. Trung opting not to go for the paddle, but trying to static or freeze on that first hold. We have one jump for Trung here. Talia trying to take her time, just missing out on the top there. Again, these boulders are balancing. The feet are not good, meaning athletes have to take their time and properly establish breathing. Again, it's a huge part of this. We see Trung taking this attempt. Those little moments that you see prepping, they're collecting themselves. I do believe the comp boulders will still be up on Monday. Yes. Talia into that stand again. We're going to see if she can make this third attempt work. Again, she needs to go nice and slow here. Trying to just paddle off of that lower hold. A minute left on the clock for each of them. Talia trying to work her way into this press. Has to go slow. Talia trying to go for another pull here. This is the last boulder. Talia making nice work of it, trying to get through. Attempt number 4 has 25 seconds left. Contrary. So, this. Athletes have to realize they have time. If they rush, that's when those mistakes happen. I believe that. Good try from Trent as well. I believe that athletes need to slow down, take their time, especially on those slab boulders. Here we have Marcus and Sophie. Again, I have not tallied up the attempts that I have seen. Yet that will come after, as we're going through a bit of a boulder rundown, just so that I have some penultimate scores for you. Have Marcus and Sophie analyzing their boulders here. Sophie getting into that starting position as well as Marcus here. Marcus getting that press off that volume, getting a little bit of friction there, as well as Sophie getting some pressure and friction off that blue group as well. So the key with this blue group, it seems, the one that Sophie is climbing on, is these pressing motions, having to feel comfortable pressing and not pulling. Often we think a lot of climbing as that pulling downwards when there's these stems happening with weight being pushed through both hands. I think why we saw Sophie's foot there is too much pressure going through the hands. So more pressure going through the hands there means less going down through the foot. So it's a delicate balance of pressure through the hands and through the foot. Her pressure through the hands needs to be adequate enough where she can stabilize herself on the wall, but not be excessive to where it takes control of the pressure down through the foot. So we're going to see Sophie trying to press off into the zone here, shifting position, getting zone on the third attempt. We're going to see Marcus pull on here for his third attempt as well. We're going to see if we can see a top here from Sophie. Again, nice and slow. Marcus trying to think about a cross here. Again, coming all the way from Regina for these competitions. So big shout out to all of the athletes that competed in qualifiers this morning and any category that they competed in this morning as well, especially to those who flew from out of town or drove from out of town. I know personally, Misha and Chris, I believe they landed very late last night, and yet they are here competing in finals this evening. So props to all of the athletes that competed throughout the day. Have Marcus taking the fall on attempt number 4 here. Sophie on attempt number 3. Again, part of this too is remembering that learning sequence of if we can remember what the previous attempt was like, because you may not always be thinking through the movement, but feeling through your body, right? Moving through a body position is often more effective in just feeling the movement rather than pre-planning out a sequence and trying to commit to that sequence. Knowing how your body feels is quite important. So we have Sophie moving into this last position, Marcus taking a fall, trying to get that pressure down through her foot. So there's that delicate balance of how much pressure and where we want the pressure down through our foot. In that case, we don't want the heel up high, right? If we're pressing through our knee, we want to be keeping our heel nice and low. We have Marcus pulling on for attempt number 6. Nothing working for Marcus here, asking for brush on that hold. Big shout out to all the volunteers as well that works throughout the day, both the Hive Climbing Winnipeg staff, big shout out to you guys, as well as the volunteers, judges, the people that helped forerun, the setters, the people that are brushing in the comp, our photographers, our videographers. Big props to all of you. These are the people that make our comps happen. Have Marcus eyeing up this dyno, just missing on attempt number 7 here. Having Sophie pressing through with 1 minute left. Lots of time for Sophie. Has to be nice and gentle. Can see a top just slipping from her fingers. 44 seconds left here on the clock. Seeing Marcus pull on for attempt number 8 here. Checking the clock, see how much time he has. We're going to see if we can see his zone. Just crossing and just missing. Have Sophie trying to press through this sequence as well. Marcus is going to be pulling off for another attempt here as well. Sophie is taking a fall. Getting egged on by the crowd for one more. Last boulder here. Marcus just missing these as well. Asking for brush. We might see another attempt from Marcus here. That will be Sophie and Marcus. Round of applause for them. We are moving on to our final 3 climbers, starting with Mr. Kyle and Zoe Perkins. We're going to see if they can make this work. Kyle, not typically known as a cotton style climber, very strong in those physical movements. We're going to see what he can do here with this route. Kyle pressing up through. Kyle as well, just taking a fall there. So we're going to go over these paddle dynos in a little bit of time, but as we're watching our last couple of climbers here, we have Zoe currently in 3rd place, Kyle, I believe, currently in 4th place, not accounting for attempts to top and attempts to zone. Strong attempts here by both. Lots of support for Kyle in the chat. Just missing. You can feel the energy from the crowd sitting here. Lots of anticipation for somebody to hit. There's a nice zone there by Zoe on attempt number 2. There's a lot of anticipation here for somebody to hit the zone on men's number 3 here. And I believe the question right now is, who is that going to be? And I think when it happens, this crowd is just absolutely ready to erupt. We have Zoe moving into that top position. Kyle getting established on this boulder for attempt number 3 here. Zoe trying to figure this top, trying to move nice and slow. Heel is locked down into place. Kyle hits the dyno! Kyle hits the dyno! Moving into the top. That's a huge zone for Kyle. Trying to see if he can make this work. A horrible hold. the top, just missing. We have Zoe at the top as well. There's not a lot there on that hold. And Zoe taking a slip and a little hit on the way down as well. Looks like she is up and okay. Oh my goodness. The crowd pretty much just exploded. We have a huge zone from Kyle on that boulder number 3, bumping him into 3rd place. Zoe pulling on here for attempt number 3. Crowd cheering on both of them. Want to see some action here. Lots of support for Kyle. Hits the dyno for a second time. Just missing it on the way back down. Some disbelief from the crowd here. Have 1 minute and 30 seconds left here on the clock. Zoe chalking up, trying to get that mental reset. Wow. What a competition, you guys. So currently, Kyle in 4th place due to attempts on zone, I believe. Kyle just missing the dyno. With 1 minute left on the clock here, we're going to see if we can make Zoe work on this last attempt. Attempt number 4 here for Zoe. This would put her in a great spot for number 1. See if she can make it work. Trying to work through that thumb press. And just misses it. So again, what is crucial with that one is the pressure going to the thumb. Kyle getting here on attempt number 5, I believe. Racing to the top with 25 seconds left. We also have Zoe on the wall. Just missing the top. Some signs of disbelief from the crowd as we say goodbye to both athletes. Our second last athlete here, we have Zoe Holland to it and Chris Taylor. Chris currently in 3rd place due to those attempts on the top and attempts on zone. We're going to get those calculated for you fully in a bit. Right now, we're saying goodbye to Kyle and Zoe and welcoming Alex and Chris. We're going to see what they can make happen here. Chris working into that press now. The raffles have not been drawn. Chris on his first attempt. We're going to see if he can make this paddle dyno work. Just missing it over. Alex nice and slowly working through this press sequence here again. Requiring lots. I'm going to wait to announce anything, but we will get those results to you shortly. We have Chris moving in for attempt number 2 here. Chris using the screw holes on the volume. So we're going to see what the judges think of that. And I will withhold my opinions. Chris just trying to make the crossover. Alex trying to figure out this zone. Not a zone yet for Alex. We're going to wait until she can use that hold to move. Getting up into that subsequent press. Getting a little bit better on it. There's the zone for Alex on attempt number 2. Chris pulling on here as well for his 3rd attempt, I believe. Chris just barely missed the paddle. There's the top for Alex. You're watching Chris here. Very clean send by Alex. Very well done. A top and zone into, I believe this is Chris' 4th or 5th attempt here. Trying to make that dyno work. That's not working for him right at the moment. That bumps Alex up into 3rd place here. See Chris work with another top, another attempt here. Chris trying to make it work. Not working for him there. Working with another attempt here. Number 6 for Chris, just barely missing that paddle. Have 1 minute left for Chris here. Takes another attempt. I am just getting some scores updated here. We have 45 seconds. Let's hype it up for Chris here. Here we go for Chris. Just misses. Big ball, but big up by Chris. Here we go. Going for attempt number 9. Wants to make something happen. Just missing. And not gonna go for Chris there. Here we go. Misha, Tekla, last climbers of the evening. Both in respective first places. We are going to see what happens here. Misha moving comfortably up into the press sequence there. We're going to see if he can make this paddle work. I don't know what I'm witnessing right now, but this is greatness. We have Misha working for the flash here on the top. We're going to see if he can make it work. Just misses the hold. But Tekla working cleanly through this section as well, on her flash as well. Tekla moving into that last position. Tekla hitting the press. 1, 2. All 3 flashes for Tekla. Absolutely outstanding performance. Round of applause for Tekla. 3 climbs, 3 flashes, securing a first place for Tekla. We have Misha moving up into the press. We saw him zone on his flash. We're going to see what happens. Hitting this move again. Lots of excitement here. We're going to see if Misha can hit the top. Lots of anticipation here from the crowd. They know what he's capable of. They know what he can do. Misha taking a nice long rest here. Lots of anticipation here. Misha hits it again. Attempt number 3 here. Just falling off that top. It makes us wonder if we are going to see anything here. Misha knows where he wants it brushed. Let's go, Misha. Misha's hyping up the crowd here. Let's get a big attempt here by Misha. Misha is from British Columbia. Huge move by Misha. Attempt number 4 here. We're going to see if we can make it work. 42 seconds left on the clock. Oh! Just missing, and a huge fall by Misha. Pops up and is okay. Going for one more. Here we go. This is what finals is about. Just missing. Pulling up for one more attempt. Let's go, Misha. That's it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Misha's just going to see if he can finish it. And takes the ball. Wow. I think there is a pinata. So, I'm going to finish tallying up all of these scores. We're going to see what's happening here. And I will get back to you in 1 second. So, hopefully nobody hits the camera here. There's lots of gear set up, so hopefully no cameras are damaged in the process here. Oh, dear God. Oh, goodness. Everybody watch their heads. Yeah! This is awesome. Almost an injury. Saw a decapitation happen. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, gosh. That was close. Swing and a miss. Yes, clear audio, again, would be really nice. This is a one-man production, not a professional company or anything, just me and some one rental camera from the Hive. This yeah. So, we are going to quickly move into some preliminary standings as things have here. So, first standings, again, all standings that I'm about to present are unofficial. So, These were not collected by the judges, but these were collected by me, just so that I could give you all an idea of where people stand at the current moment. So we will wait for podiums for official standings. But looking at the women here, we have Tekla Hunter in first place with 3 total tops, 3 zones, and 3 total attempts to stop and zone. So meaning she flashed every single boulder. In second place here, we have Zoe Perkins. So with 1 top and 2 total zones, 13-11. Ellen I have as third place here, 1 total top, 2 zones at 14 and 11. Talia Bertrand Meadows in fourth place here. Again, these are non-official rankings right now. We have Talia in fourth place with 1 top, 2 zones at 15 and 12. In fifth place here, we have Alex Hallenduick, again with 1 top, 2 zones at 17 and 16. And finally, Sophie with 0-0, 13 and 13. So, what is important here is I do not know if my zone and attempt tracking was correct. Again, I simply saw what I could. So these are the preliminary or the early standings here for the women. I am not sure again if these are correct. We're going to wait till final podiums as things are being counted officially by the judges. We're going to take a look over here to the men. We have Misha here in first place at 2 tops, 3 zones at 12 and 9. In second place, we have Harrison Jensen at 1 and 1 at 17 and 15. Third place here, we have Kyle at 2 at 25 and 21. In fourth place, here, we have I just thought we should tune into this. Julian pulling out a sword. Let's go! Again, in fourth place here, before the official count, we have Chris Taylor at 2 zones at 27 and 30 from what I calculated. So again, that is just my math. In fifth, we have Marcus Hall at 0 and 1, followed by Trung Nguyen at 0 and 1. We're going to tune in quickly for raffle draws. Yes, bringing swords are. So, raffle prizes are being drawn now. So we're going to move into something a little special that I have prepared here. So moving into a couple of boulders here, we're going to take a look at some of these. So again, this first one, really interesting strategies here happening on this first one. Let's see if my pen works here, which it does. Lovely. So really interesting here was the things happening with this volume. So again, we saw Chris Taylor do this really well, this opposing force on each side of the volume. But you can also get a nice look at how those volumes are shaped. So there is not lots of surface on any of those volumes for you to step bubble. So again, very interesting, especially with this zone hold. That super duper small chip doesn't give lots of friction. So being able to balance across these two volumes, generating that kind of opposing pressure and being able to stand is absolutely critical. Again, what we saw some athletes do really well is I like to call it moving in a line. So they have that line down the center of their body and they're moving together in that line as it goes across, making sure that no weight is being shifted or over. Again, you can get a nice look at some of these holds here. So again, they're pressing on top of this surface that has very little friction. So being able to press through that hold while keeping pressure down through this foot is super, super important. Again, that's where we saw that kind of flag move happen. So having the hands here and the foot out, standing up into that pressing motion. So super interesting boulder from men's number one. We're going to move on to women's number two. We have, again, that super bad hold, or women's one rather, that super bad hold at the start. This is where you can see something interesting. So this hold here, being able to use that for a heel hook and getting over top of it, super important. So again, you can see a very low friction based volume, not lots to go off of there. Moving on to a second view here, we're gonna go back one. Again, with that foot, very important that you get the knee over top of that hold. That causes that weight to shift. So as we're here, again, we are wanting that weight to shift to the side there, meaning that hand has to pull heavy down off of that hold to gain good friction off of here. Again, super bad holds here. Moving up to the top section, we have this blocked crimp. I believe they unblocked it, but again, not very positive. Same thing with these holds, very slopey, kind of shaped like that. So you have to use that open palm. Moving on to men's two, something interesting to note here is this dual tags. So causing this to be nice and slippery means there's less percentage chance moving up into these holds, which again, here in this little slit is important for lots of precision. Moving at the top, you can see kind of the brutalness of some of those holds, you know, having to pull heavily off that through the shoulder while also getting weight over this way. So we saw Misha do that quite well through that foot, pulling down on that hold with the hand. Moving on to women's boulder 2. So there's lots I want to talk about on this one. And specifically, it's through this section here. So here, as we are standing up, being able to move over as a unit, having the hand and the foot land at the same time is super duper important. That creates, again, that opposing pressure when you have this pulling one way and the foot pressing down through the foot the other way. Again, part of that is controlling the barn door, where you might have seen people use their arms or their legs to help control that barn door. Looking at the top, again, those very small and horrible volumes. On to men's boulder number 3 here. We have that press section. So not lots of friction off of here on this volume, forcing individuals to stand up on the 2 volumes, kind of in that stemming. This is where we see that importance of the paddle dyno. So what I like to talk about with paddles is a pendulum style. As these holds are being prepped, the body moves. So as the body swings over, then that second hand can pull down through that hold so that the body is set. Here we have women's boulder 3. So we saw lots of interesting things happen here. Again, very poor foot here and here, requiring lots of pressing through the holds, and especially getting up to the top, we see the poor nature of that hold. There's not lots of pushing surface. So again, you're having to push up through the holds as well as getting pushed down through the feet. So you see some of the nature of those holds. This is that foot that you're standing on at the top. Again, shaped quite poorly. So very interesting. For hopefully podiums. Thank you all, everybody, for tuning in. We are currently just waiting on final podiums here. So make sure you stay tuned for the final results. They're going to be presented here in a second.
So,
Big shout out to So we're going to go over some podiums from earlier in the day. So we have beginner. In third place. Congratulations to Marina taking the first place podium position here for the beginner category. Congratulations. Yes, I can do my best to announce the winners, although I can't hear that quite well either as well.
Okay, moving on to our beginner male.
Beginner male podium. Robert Alvarez in third place for our beginner male. In second place, Benjamin in second place. And Matthew in first place. Congratulations to all of our individuals. Congratulations to the beginner category here. I did not hear the name of this category, but congratulations, Samuel, first place. Big thumbs up from Samuel here. Congratulations. Here we go, intermediate female. Morgan in third place. Congratulations.
Second place, we have Margaret Evo. And in first, we have Samantha Barr.
And Samantha taking first place. Congratulations to all of our competitors. The first place winner, of course, taking home the infamous honey dill sauce. Moving on to intermediate male. Jay taking home third place for intermediate male. Christopher Johns taking home second place. And I believe the name, I did not hear the name, unfortunately, for the first place competitor. But congratulations to those on the podium for intermediate male. We are going to get to our finals podium. In second place for our intermediate gender diverse category, Haley. Lauren Wong taking home the first place in the gender diverse category as well.
Female category, citizen.
Taking home third place in the female category. This crowd is very loud. Ethan Davis, third place for the advanced male category. Congratulations. I unfortunately also could not read the name. Jackie Pan taking home first place in the advanced male category. Jackie, a little bit late to the podium here. Moving on to, I believe we're going to be doing Masters. Melanie taking second place in the Advanced Masters category. And Tim taking home first place in the Advanced Masters category. Melanie, being the only one present, gets to stand on that podium.
And in Masters, in third,
Robert Murdoch taking home third place here for the Masters men's.
in second place,
Moving on to second place, Mr. Dan Neufeld. He's been around the climbing scene for a while now, taking home second place here. Matt Reynolds taking home first place for the Masters male. Moving on. Congratulations.
all right, just before
Again, just a big shout out to the volunteers. These are the people that make the competition happen. So, the route setters, the people who foreran, the people who set up the competition, the people who helped judge, the people who stayed late and worked early. All these people are the people that can make these competitions happen. Here we go. Female podium. Ellen taking home third in open female first competition, taking home third place. In second, Zoe Perkins taking home second place. And of course, the one, the only, undisputed, most dominant climber, back-to-back champion, Tekla Hunter. Congratulations. Absolutely dominant performance here from Tekla. 3 total climbs, 3 total attempts. No more, no less. Her open male. In third. Betcha is in third place. Congratulations to Kyle, the previous Honey Dill champion, now standing strong on that third podium. Congratulations to Kyle. In second, Harrison Jensen taking home second place. And in first, the most dominant performance I have seen in a while. National champion and now Honeydew champion, Nisha. Absolutely incredible. Dominant performances all around. Absolutely outstanding. Let's give it a hands in the comments for these athletes. Absolutely incredible.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you to the Hive. So that does it for the night. We're going to quickly look one more time at our standings. Again, in first place, we have Misha, followed by Harrison in second place with 1-1. And in third place, we have Kyle at 0-2. Kyle winning it just barely off of Chris Taylor, off of those crucial attempts to top, where Kyle took 25, Chris Taylor took a total of 27. We have Marcus Hall in fifth place, followed by Trung Nguyen in sixth place. Taking a look now at the women, we have Tekla Hunter, an absolutely dominant performance this evening by Tekla, with 3 flashes across all 3 boulders. In second, Zoe Perkins, winning it off of attempts to top at 13 attempts to top, with 1 total top and 2 zones, followed by Ellen, finishing in third place at 1 total top, 2 zones, and 14 total attempts to top. Thank you very much for tuning in this evening. Congratulations to all the athletes, and we will see you around the gym.